Hello and welcome to Rose Red Homestead. We are so glad to have you along with us today. We're going to be doing something that I'm quite excited about. Today we are going to be doing challah bread, spelled with a CH at the beginning but pronounced without the C. It is challah bread, and it is a bread that is in the Jewish tradition used for Shabbat or the Sabbath and holiday times. And since we are looking at the holidays coming up here pretty soon, and I know that we've already missed some Jewish holidays, it's always good to have a variety of wonderful breads to use during the holiday season, and this challah bread is one of them. I do want to remind you of our Rose Red Homestead classes. We have all of these classes. Some of them are very applicable to the holiday times coming up. I'm going to give them a quick read. Apple pie from scratch, success with biscuits, basic menu planning, making and preserving cream soups, safely adjusting tested recipes, sprouting wheat for flour and bread, how to organize anything, efficient multiple meal prep, and coming very soon this month, later in the month, is Make Ahead Holiday Foods. Now these classes are all free. They last roughly 55 minutes to an hour, and they're more on the style of an actual class that you would take like at a university. So it gives Jim and me a chance to teach like we used to before we retired. So I've been working all month on the last one, the Plan Ahead, Make Ahead Holiday Foods, and it's been fun to do, and hope you will enjoy that class when it comes up in less than 2 weeks. So watch for it to come. All right, so we are going to do challah bread from scratch today, a little bit of a different recipe. It is an enriched recipe for bread, which means that it contains a sweetener and some eggs. The recipe that I'm using is called Classic Challah. This deep gold, light textured bread is traditionally served on the Jewish Sabbath and other holidays. The dough is wonderfully smooth and supple, making it an ideal candidate for braiding. And yes, we are going to braid it. I've been at my desk practicing with pens, putting them in different, we're going to do a 4 braid. And I've finally figured out how to do it, simplified it, and we'll do that a little bit later in this video. The first thing though is, we're just going to start making the dough. And I need to get 480 grams of flour in here. The recipe is from King Arthur. I will put the link below the description of the video so that you can check it out. There are lots of really wonderful recipes for challah bread all over the internet. 480 grams of flour, which is about 4.5 cups. I'm going to take the bowl off of the scale, and we're just going to add things in the order that it calls for. First is 3/4 of a cup of warm water, which is right here. Next is 6 tablespoons of vegetable oil. So 6 tablespoons of vegetable oil is 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons. So we'll do it the quick way. Before I get this wet with the oil, I am going to add 4 teaspoons of yeast. And so that is a tablespoon plus a teaspoon. Now I'm going to do the oil. I need 2 more. Then after the oil comes 3 tablespoons of honey. Now this is our own honey from our very own bees. And after you measure oil, measuring honey is a snap. It just falls right out of the spoon. And the spoon stays pretty clean, except for the edges. Then 2 large eggs plus an extra yolk, that's going in. The extra white is right here. We'll be using that for a wash to brush on the bread a little bit later. And 1.5 teaspoons of salt. There's 1 and there's a half. And then the yeast is already in. All right, now we're going to put this up on the mixer and mix it. This is my Anckershram. And we're just going to mix first. I really love how the Anckershram kneads bread. It really gives it a good kneading. So once it's mixed like that, we're going to turn it up and move the roller over closer to the side. And you can see how it just twists and turns that dough. So we're going to knead that for about 8 minutes, and I'm going to set my timer right here on the machine for 8 minutes, and we will be back when it is fully kneaded. So our 8 minutes are up. I just wanted you to see at the end of the kneading how clean the bowl is. Okay, so we get our dough ball and we can take it. It's very soft, very pliable. Oh, it feels wonderful. And I'm just going to put it down in this plastic container with a lid. And we are going to let it rise until it is puffy, not necessarily double in size, but until it is nice and puffy. The recipe says that it may take up to about 2 hours. So we'll see how it goes, but we'll be back when it's puffy, which means then we'll be ready to braid it. So I'll see you then. This has been 2 hours and it is puffy. So let's take it out of here. And we are going to divide it after we degas it a little bit. So we're going to divide it into fourths, as evenly as possible. Okay, so they're in these sort of logs. And then I'm going to start in the middle. Let's see, I'm going to roll them. Start in the middle and roll outward. And I want them, this is 18, and we're going to make them about 20 with little tips on the end here. Okay, there's one. Starting in the middle, and then just letting my hands go outward. And taper it on the ends. All right, so we have our strands. So let's look at my cheat sheet up here. Like I say, I'm really nervous about this. I was practicing all morning using pencils at my desk. So I hope that I'll be able to show this to you. I probably just should have opted for a standard 3-strand braid that I can do with my eyes closed, since I had 2 daughters with long hair when they were growing up, and I did a lot of braiding then, but I've never done a 4-strand braid. And there are all kinds of tutorials on the internet and several different ways to do it. Some that blew my mind. I felt they were so complex and not explained very well, and others that were simple that I could follow a little bit better. But I finally found one, and I made it my own by giving my own names to things and to doing some little figuring out. Now, everybody's brain works a little bit differently. So I figured this out that it works with the way that I think. If this doesn't work for the way you think, feel free to go online and you can get a 3-strand, 4-strand, up to a 9-strand challah recipe for doing it. The bread recipe is pretty standard, but the number of strands varies a whole lot. So this is a fairly simple 4-strand. You start it in this configuration, and I'm going to join them up here, and then there's going to be a right wing going straight out and a left wing going straight out, like bird wings. Just think about that. And then in the center, there's a left center and a right center. And these are positions rather than individual strands. So the dough will start out in this position, but when I start braiding, anything that lands here is going to be a left wing, regardless of which strand it is. So here's how this works, and here's how you interpret this. So we take the right center, RC, and we go to the left. So I'm going to take this one and move it over here. Now here's a rule to remember. The center ones can't ever go over a wing. They can't, you think of this as a boundary, and so you can't take a strand and put it over a wing. So the only direction that this right center strand can go is here. It can't go here, otherwise it breaks that rule. So then we take the left wing and put it over 2 strands. So here's 2 humps right here. So this is over 1 strand, this is over 2 strands going this direction, this is over 1 strand, and this is over 2 strands going that direction. Now I have to do this or I will lose track with it facing me. And I'm just going to overlap the tips a little bit. And so now you see this configuration. So here is the right wing for me, the left wing, the right center, and the left center. So we are going to take the right center and move it over 1 spot to here. Then we're going to take the left wing and move it over 2 slots to here, making this now the left wing. Okay, so we got to this point. Now we're going to take the left center, and it can only go one way. It can't go beyond this boundary. So it goes this way, and we're making it fairly loose. And then the right wing goes over everything. And we want it loose. Okay, so now we've done 4 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 strands. So that helps us know that, okay, it's time to start over again. So we take the left center, the right center, have to learn my left and right. The right center, and it goes over 1. Left wing goes over 2. And this becomes a wing. And then we take the left center, which is here, and it goes over 1. And then the right wing goes over 2. So here are 2 wings, and we're ready to start again. That was the right center over 1, left wing over 2. Now this time it is the left center goes over 1, right wing over 2. Here's our wings. Right center over 1, left wing over 2. Now we take the left center over 1, right wing over 2. Okay, now right center over 1, left wing over 2. And we take the left center over 1 and the right wing over 2. And then we're just going to take this one around and we're going to tuck everything underneath. And we're going to take this little piece and fasten it under as well. So now we have our braid. Well, I think we did it. So it has this little braid on the top and the little side braid here. And we can just make sure that it just kind of tightens up a little bit, and then put the whole thing right here. Oh, it's beautiful. My gosh, look at that. Jim, look at that.
That looks great.
Oh my gosh. Okay, whew. I'm sweating like crazy. I was very nervous about that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I noticed.
Okay, I got my right and left mixed up from time to time.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just going to cover this, and now it is going to sit here for between an hour and a half and get all puffy again, and then we will brush some egg white wash on the top of it and get it in a 375 oven and bake it. So we'll be back when we get to that point. Meanwhile, if you want to, oh, there's a little sun in the corner here, but if you want to make yourself a little cheat sheet, just make sure that the video is showing this, and then pause the video, and you can just put this on a little 3x5 card if this is helpful to you. So we will be back when it's ready to go into the oven. Well, it's looking beautiful. I'm really pleased with it. And it has risen just over an hour, and I tested it, giving it the little poke test, and it appears to be ready to go into the oven. And I am trying to get every little nook and cranny with this egg white wash. I've just taken one egg white and added a little bit of water to it, about a tablespoon of water, and whisked it together, and trying to get the egg white all over it.
Okay, I'm going to come around and get a shot. Okay.
There's our oven. It is ready. So we're going to go in at 375 for 25 to 30 minutes, or until it gets up to about 190 degrees. So we will be back when we're taking it out of the oven. It turned out beautiful. I just now took it out of the oven. So here it is. It is beautifully brown, just beautiful. And the white between the braids is white like that because that did not get any egg wash. That's because it rose in the oven and exposed that area that did not have any egg white on it. If you want it to be brown all over, I love this look, but if you like it to be brown everywhere, let it bake for about 15 minutes, and then you come in with your brush and brush in here, and it will be all brown. Two things I learned. First of all, I had forgotten that enriched bread browns faster than regular bread because of the sugar and the extra eggs. And so my oven runs a little bit hot. Instead of baking it at 375, next time I will bake it at 350. Also, this got a little bit too brown on the bottom. And so what I will do next time is set it up the very same way on a baking sheet, but I will put a second baking sheet under the first one. So that will create a little bit of an air space, and that will take care of the a little bit too dark brown on the bottom. So we're gonna let this cool for about a half an hour or so, and then we'll come back and see what it looks like on the inside. Well, I can't wait. One more minute. So we're gonna go ahead and cut into it. Probably a little bit too hot, but we're gonna go into it anyway. Oh my goodness. Look how beautiful that crumb is.
Looks nice.
It really does look nice. I'm bummed about how dark the bottom is, but you can't win them all, so we'll know next time. So I'm just going to put a little bit of butter on this and take a bite. Oh. Oh, I think it's wonderful. I'm going to take a bite over here without the butter. It's very different than the bread that I usually make. It's very enriched. I can taste the sweetness of the honey, the richness of the eggs. A little bit more honey and it would have been a sweet bread, but it's just on that verge. It's very, very tender. It is just delicious. I'm so glad that we now have this beautiful bread that we can also feature during the holidays. So this was a great success. I'm very, very happy with it. In case you didn't know, challah bread is supposed to make fantastic French toast. And we are going to make an overnight French toast with blackberries in our upcoming video on Make Ahead holiday meals. So watch for that and watch for the challah bread. It will be making another appearance in that video as well. So thank you so much for being with us. I hope you try this, and I hope you try and are successful with a 4-braid if you've never done one before. There are probably many of you out there who already have mastered the art of braiding bread. But for those of us who are just novices, I'm feeling pretty proud of myself. So thanks again, and we will see you very soon for more videos.